Good morning. Good morning. And how are you? My name is Karen. I help people to explore joy in all aspects of life. So let's be joyful. So I can remember a time in my life when I didn't choose joy. And I've alluded to these things periodically. I would have it in my mind that, oh, today I'd like to fill in the blank. I like to go out for a walk. I like to continue working on that crocheting project that I started 2 months ago. Or I like to, whatever. But I never got to it. Life happens. You have errands to run, you have your job to do. There's the kids, there's the spouse, there's the parents, there's whatever. And by the time you lay your head down on the pillow that night, guess what has not occurred? So, has this ever happened to you, folks that are here joining me live? Just drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Have you ever set out to do something, have it in your mind when you wake up, like, yes, that's definitely something that I want to do today because I like it, because it'll give me joy, and because, you know, it's fun? And everything else seems to get in the way. So by the time you're ready for bed that night, one more day has gone by before you've given yourself the joy of doing whatever it might be. And for me, it's crocheting. I love to crochet, especially when I'm in the middle of a project and I'm starting to see it take shape. There is something very super cool about watching your hands create this thing in 3 dimensions that you could then use, because I tend to be a very practical sort. So I really, you have this crochet hook, you have this yarn, and, with a little bit of time, you have a sweater, blanket, hat, whatever. It's very cool. So when I'm in the middle of a project, there's nothing more joyful than, continuing to see this project take shape. Or I might want to go out for a walk in nature. I love to do that. Clears my head, especially when it's sunny out and there's a nice crisp feel in the air. There's nothing that I like better than doing that. Yeah, I agree with you, Robert. Doesn't that happen all the time? That you set yourself up for wanting to do something that would give you joy, and you tend to take a back seat, right? So what do you do? What do you do when you find that one more day has gone by and you've not done the thing, whatever the thing is, that would give you joy? So what do you do? So, and something else to think about, and this is something else, it's not just the thing we're talking about that would give you joy, do or don't do. It's the people you choose to hang out with. Now, I get it. Some people you cannot choose who you're going to spend time with. Family. You can pick your friends, you can't pick your family. Same thing true of coworkers, bosses. I mean, you can pick your boss to some extent when you go on your job interview, and if you really don't like this person, you may choose not to take the job. However, if it's a really good job that would really advance you, you may decide to kind of suck it up. But what do you do having to have this person in your environment that gives you no joy? Yeah, it's a problem. And it's a problem that I remember having not very long ago. So I'm right there in the trenches with you that way. So I'm going to offer a couple of suggestions and see how this feels to you in terms of dealing with people in your immediate surroundings that might not bring you so much joy. So one of the things that I would do, and it worked sometimes, sometimes not, play if you want, is when this person that you just know is going to bring you no joy. You just know this because, you know, they haven't. And as we said a day or so ago, we tend to base our reactions to people on past experiences. So you just know this person is just going to be something. It's going to be a something. Whatever it is, it's a something. And it's a something that either you have no control over or you just don't want to deal with, or you just don't want to deal with this person. What I would do, what I used to do in those situations, but I had to be super aware as this person was coming to this. That's the rub. You always have to be aware of where you are at the moment. You can't be unconscious on autopilot and have this work. So if you can catch yourself, if you could be aware when whomever is coming into your field of vision and you feel that feeling in maybe in your belly or in your muscles, you're starting to tighten up and your chest, your shoulders kind of hunched up a little bit. You can even see my shoulders come up a little bit. And that feeling, I mean, as I'm thinking about it, I'm feeling it. Imagine yourself in a glass bubble that you could see through. They could see through, but they don't know that you're in a glass bubble, but you are. And whatever stuff they're throwing at you just gets bounced off that glass. And, you know, depending on the person, I've done this. I've made my glass bubble very thick, like super thick, that they can't get to me. That they can't get to me. Yeah, it kind of depends. I mean, you can make it less, you can make it more, and it's all in the mind. I mean, you're not really going to be putting a glass bubble over you, of course not, but you can imagine that you're protected in this glass bubble and see how that feels. For myself, it used to work really well for certain people, not so well with other people, but again, this is something worth playing about and seeing if this works for you when you are in the environment of somebody that you just know is not going to bring you joy. You just know it. And it could be family, it could be coworker, it could be whomever. And you have the choice. And these are really for people that you can't choose to not spend time with. You can't choose, well, you can, but most often we don't want to. But you can choose, you can't choose to not to be with family. You can't. I mean, you can. Some people you should, you know, depending on their situation, but most of the time, we don't want to not see our family. We want to partake in them. We just don't enjoy some of the things that are happening. So this might be a good technique to use when you're maybe seeing them for the holidays, because, you know, we're getting there. Or your coworkers. You can't not see your coworkers. So this might be helpful. Your boss can't not, well, depending on your work situation, you might not be seeing your boss so much. I had situations where I didn't see my boss for weeks. They were there, I was here, but they're still, just a phone call away. So you can use this technique if that makes sense to you. But you could choose that aside. You could choose on your off time who you spend your time with, right? You could do that. You could choose what you're going to do on your time off. So instead of watching Netflix, and I love Netflix, I'm not bashing Netflix. I see some really good, very good, cool, interesting, thought provoking stuff on Netflix. I love Netflix. But instead of spending hours on Netflix, how about doing the thing you wanted to do? So when you go to bed, not going, another night that I wanted to do that, or another day that I wanted to do that, and I just didn't. And you feel a little deflated, right? A little defeated, a little disappointed in yourself that you didn't choose to do the thing you wanted to do when you could do it. Same thing with people. You could choose to be with the people that will lift you up instead of tear you down on your off time, nights, weekends, whatever your schedule is. You could choose to be with the people that'll lift you up. And you find when that happens that magically you just feel better. I've always found the people that drag you down, and you know who I mean. You know the types that I mean. I always feel more drained after them. I refer to them as energy sucks. And you could love them, but they'll just suck your energy out. Friends, neighbors, relatives, people are who they are, but you don't have to step into that. I was trying to figure out a way to say that. You don't have to step into that. If these are people you have to see, I gave you something that you might want to try. But if you don't have to see them, especially friends, because friends you choose, remember, family you can't. If you have a friend that's an energy suck, you might love them, but, either use that technique or love them from a distance or set a time aside where if you go out for dinner with them, that they're going to be however it is they're going to be, and just let them be who they are. Just let them. It's okay. You don't have to be them. It's fine. Just let them be who they are, and then you can go off and be who you are. And if you felt a little bit uncomfortable by, a little less energetic because you are in their company, be aware of it and figure out what you need to do for you, and everybody is different. So these are a whole bunch of thoughts, and I gave you a whole lot today. So think about that. If any of that made sense to you, if you've loved that, if it resonated with you, feel free to share it. If you are not on my newsletter, I really recommend that you do that. Go over to KarenBromberg.com, put in your name, your email. You'll get newsletters from me about all sorts of very cool things. I'm going to be putting more stuff. Now in the last few weeks, I've been tailoring my newsletters to a certain aspect of life. And as we go on, I'm going to be broadening it out even more. So go ahead and hop on over and get onto my newsletter. So you have a fabulous day. Enjoy. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.